Did she make it in? Nope. Okay. Looks like Samaya's having some problems getting in. Okay, well, I'm not going to wait for much longer. All right, there we go. So, Amir, you had a question. Go ahead and ask, darling.
Remember, like last week's homework or 2 weeks ago homework, we did key
theory, yes.
Yeah, this was my drawing.
Awesome.
He's at a disco dance party.
Love it.
Very and it took me a long time to draw this with crayon.
And I can see you did a really good job with the coloring too. So let me. Oh, did Samaya make it in? I'll bet she did. Yay, she's again. Look at you guys. I love it. Yes, I saw it. Rubens is dabbing. Very nice, guys. All right. We are going to get started in just a moment. Windows, so many windows. Okay, all right. So I am sharing my screen with you. Give me just a thumbs up in your camera if you can see a colorful picture that says elements of art, shape, and form. Cool. Amir can see it. I'm going to assume since Amir can see it, there's Ruben's telling me he can see it. Good, good, good. All right. So I'm going to get started on this because I don't want to run out of time. You guys are going to be learning more about the elements of art. What are the elements of art again? They're like the building blocks of art, like the Legos of art. You need to use them. There's lots of them. You need to use them to make something. Now, I totally forgot that there was one called space last week. I knew something was wrong and I just kept going, but we're going to be working with space as well this week. So you today are going to be learning about shape, form, and space.
Miss Franz.
Yes, sir.
It's kind of like the structure of art.
It is. It is very much like that. So what are we talking about shapes? Shapes are objects that are two-dimensional, which means they're just flat on a sheet of paper and are usually defined by a line. When you make a dot, if you just make a dot, that's just a dot. But when you make that dot become a line, and if you connect it back to itself in a circle, you've made a circle. And then if you make a straight line and a straight line and a straight line and they're all equal, you've made a square. There are two types of shapes. There's geometric, which you can see on the left side of the screen, and there's organic, which you can see on the right. There's some artist disagreement on if a circle is a geometric or an organic shape. I always consider it to be geometric, but I'm not worried about it either way if you think it is or isn't. So what does that mean? What is a geometric shape? A geometric shape is a shape that we have a name for, that you can measure precisely. They are shapes that you can recognize by their amounts of their side, by the amount of sides. So a triangle has how many sides, guys? You can unmute and say three. Perfect. A diamond will have 4, like a square, but what's the difference between a diamond and a square? Who can unmute and tell me? You can just unmute and tell me, it's okay.
It's a little slanted.
A diamond slanted, good job. Yes, and then the square has 4 perfectly the same size sides, because if they're not all the same size, then it ends up being a rectangle. So geometric shapes are usually very straight, but an oval and a circle, that's a little different because they're round. But an organic shape is free form. We don't have a name for them. We don't say that they are anything in particular. You can look at the difference. I mean, I hope you can see the difference between the two on the screen. A rectangle is very precise. You can look at it and go, oh yeah, that's a rectangle. But if you look over on the other side, they mostly look like blobs or splatters or clouds or things that don't have a precise or exact shape. You're going to be using both of these things today. You're going to start with an organic shape, but then you're going to be making geometric shapes. All right, next up, what is a form? Is when you have the 3D version of the shape. So a 3D version of a triangle is called a triangular prism. The rectangle is a rectangular prism. Do I have? I do. So let's take a look at this tissue box. If I hold it right here, almost right in front of my face, all you see is a square. But if I move it this way, try not to go off camera, you can see that now here is just the regular square. But once I turn it, you can see that it's got the front side, another side. You can even see some of the top. That's the difference between flat and 3D, or 2 and 3D. We're not going to focus on that one right now. We will do some things 3D in another project, but we're not going to focus on that one immediately. So, and the next thing we're going to talk about is called space when it comes to art. There are two basic kind of shapes. Space. There's the space that means when you look at a picture and you can go, wow, it looks like I'm really here. It looks like there's really something in the distance, and it looks like I could reach through and I could touch something. That's kind of what it means by space. But there's also space of how much of your paper does it take up? And that is still one of the things that I have a problem with, especially with my really little kids, is trying to get people to use the whole paper. I know that you can draw like one really good little guy, but usually I want you to draw more of it, fill up the whole thing. You guys have gotten a lot better over this in the years, so I'm very proud of you for that. But today, I'm going to show you about two types of space. It's called negative and positive. I'm going to move my cursor over here. Give me a thumbs up if you can see the cursor on top of my, awesome, good. I don't always know if it can come up or not. So let's look at this example at the top. All the rainbow dots are inside of the circle on the inside. So we focus on that part of the art, and therefore it's called the positive space. And all of this empty area around it is called negative, because we're not looking at that. Think about it for a moment. All of the rainbow spots is the positive, because that's where we're looking. That's where you want to look. And then the outside where there's nothing is called negative, because you don't really want to look there. It's kind of boring. But down here, it's flipped. The negative is still where there's no artwork, but it's the circle in the middle, and the positive is the outside. Don't worry if you don't get this immediately. This is actually more of a middle school concept, but I wanted to introduce it to you while you were younger, so that by the time you get up to middle school, you can go, oh, okay, wait, maybe I get it.
Wait, so negative is like the background?
Kind of. It's where you're not interested in looking in the artwork. So here's another example.
Kind of like the background. It
is kind of like the background, but it's not always. Here's another one. So if you've seen this before, this is called an optical illusion. On this side where it says the positive, if you look at it, the black part makes you look like it's like a flower vase. And if you look at the white part, you don't really see anything. So that's the positive space of the vase. But if you switch it over here, the negative space now looks like two faces talking to each other. Yeah, it's okay. What you guys are going to be doing today is you are still going to be doing positive and negative space, but you are going to be making artwork that has your hand, which is an organic shape. Then you are going to be making shapes, geometric shapes with the lines. And then we'll be working with warm and cool colors. So I am going to stop sharing this so I can go to sharing my document camera, and I will walk you through how to start this. And then share screen, advanced document camera. Huzzah. All right. Just because I'm always nervous that I'm missing something, give me a thumbs up if you can see my hand on top of my sketchbook. Awesome. So you might have to get someone to help you with this part. It's okay if you can't trace your hand. It's all right. It really is. So the first thing you're going to do when you start this project is you're going to need to trace your hand. Please don't do this yet. I want you to watch everything before you get started, because I'm going to tell you and show you some of the ways that people will mess up tracing their hand. Ooh, that's really bright. Can you? That might be a little better. All right. So that was me laying my hand flat and keeping my pencil up and down. Let me show you what happens if you turn your pencil. See, I'm keeping it straight up and down. And I just, wow, you got bad light around here. Is that going to be better? Nope, that makes it worse. Sorry about that. Maybe you have to turn off that light. All right, that's a little bit better. So if I keep my pencil up and down, you get a good finger. But look what happens, and this is what a lot of people accidentally do. So instead of keeping their pencil up and down, they turn their pencil and they end up going underneath your finger, and look what you get. Nobody's got skeleton fingers. We're not doing that. So remember, when you're tracing your hand, keep the pencil straight up and down. Don't turn it flat. Because if you turn it flat, well, no, not yet, because I'm still not done. I'm just trying to give you a tip on how to do it. And if you can't trace your own hand, it's okay to ask your mom or dad or somebody else to come and help you with that. So once you've traced your hand, you're going to need, I just had it. Here we go. You're going to need a ruler. Or if you don't have a ruler, find something like a folder, and you can still use it as your straight edge. I'm going to turn my paper this way so you can see what I'm doing. So since I won't use my ruler, I'm going to use this to make my straight up and down lines. See, it's still straight. You're not measuring anything. I just want you to be able to make straight lines. So next, the lines go up and down. And I'm not measuring them. I'm just making sure that they're not super close to each other.
Are we doing it right now?
No, darling. I want you to finish watching me first.
Okay.
So I have made my hand, which I'm going to go back over and make it a little bit darker so you can see. There we go. So I have my hand. I made the lines going up and down. So my hand was what kind of shape? Geometric or organic? You can unmute and tell me. It's okay.
Organic.
Perfect.
Organic.
It's the organic side. And we started making our straight up and down lines because the next thing we're going to do is do them sideways and make some squares. And those are what kind of shapes?
Organic.
No,
Geometric.
they're geometric. There you go. So
Oh,
look,
yeah.
it's okay. You just heard that word. If it's so, and that's okay if you don't get it.
I
So,
get confused.
oh no, it's okay. All right, so I'm not measuring them. I'm just making sure that I'm not, don't make your squares really close together. It will make it hard for you to figure out where to go. So,
Miss Franz,
yes,
good hand.
You're not supposed to be working on it yet, Amir. You're supposed to be watching me right now. I want you to watch me first. Don't worry about the hand. You need to see me do everything before you start anything else. Now, Miss Franz, how do you lose all of your supplies? There they are. Now that we have our shapes drawn, we need to worry about our colors. You are going to be using warm colors or cool colors on the hand. You pick. If you want to make it look just like mine, you'll do cool colors on the inside. If you want to do your own thing, just a moment, baby. If you want to do your own thing, you can do warm colors on the inside and cool colors on the outside. But I've got a whole bunch of cool colors here because we need purple, green, blue, and I'm going to get some more blue and a light purple, and I'm going to pick a dark green. Y'all with me so far? You know what the cool colors are? That doesn't look good. All right. Now, I'm going to take one of my cool colors, and I'm going to only color in the part of the finger that's inside one of those squares. Do you see how I stopped at the line? Underneath it, I'm going to make it a different color. So I'm going to take this part of the finger, because remember, I'm staying inside of the box, and I'm going to color it a different one of the cool colors. Then I'm going to do the same thing. So now I've got purple. Now, one of the challenges is to not do the same kind of color next to it. So since I just colored that one purple, I can't color the one underneath it purple. So I'm going to do a dark blue instead.
Now, can we do it?
No, I'm still showing you guys the instructions. Hold on. I know you're excited, but you got to be patient. So next, because this is blue, I'm going to make this other one next to it. I'm going to be going with green. And you're going to keep going until you filled up only the hand. Do not color the outside boxes because that's not part of it. The boxes on the outside are going to be different colors. They're going to start being the warm colors. So I'm going to do red on the outside. That's not red, that's orange, Miss Franz. Now I'm going to find a red. I'm going to do red on the outside of this one. What's my last warm color that I haven't used? Who can unmute and tell me?
Yellow.
Yellow, good job. So next I'm going to use a yellow up here. But since this guy is orange and this guy is yellow, that means this one can only be what color? Can only go back to being red because I've already used them. And you will keep going until you have filled out the page, and it will look like this again. So that is what you are going to be working on for your project today. But we are not going to get started on this right now because we've only got 5 minutes left in class. And now that we have 5 minutes left in class, we are going to do a moving activity. This is just going to be something silly. This is going to be a last 5 minutes of 4th grade. You are going to start doing a moving activity in your special classes, not just with art, but with all of your classes. So I am going to pull up this video that I have found, and of course it does not want to be immediately on it. So I'm going to mute everybody just because I think some of us are going to be really loud in a moment, and it's okay. If you have any questions, go ahead and type it in the chat box for me so I can answer it for you there. But we are about to do our stand up and dance kind of thing. And yes, this is definitely, this assignment is not due until 2 Wednesdays from now. So if you don't do this one right now, it's okay. You got plenty of time. So this is a sing and dance. You are going to repeat